So, hello, beautiful people, future me. Yesterday we changed this thing, so we have a beautiful thing to pick from. And today I will start with the execute program without using this. And I do plan to have another session today as well, so that should be okay. So the first one is a typing. We'll improve our typing, hopefully. Start the clock. And the PHP Symphony. Okay. Here? Yeah. All right. How we are doing? I don't think it will. Ah, it's Amper keystroke override is still 4%. That's good. That's the most important metric in my opinion. The unproductive keystroke, and I try to keep you down. Let's go. Maybe I can do something else in time. Alright, 5 minutes. Cool. And I did 3 mistakes, 4%, and a VPN of 46. Cool. Maybe I'm improving, who knows? Alright, so we did this, and the next thing I said I want to execute program. So I can try if that works, and it does. Okay, and we do that, and execute program, the thing I want to do. And wheel of names I will pop up because there will be multiple things to choose from, I think. I'm paying for it. 90 bucks. So we have a TypeScript, JavaScript, SQL, and modern JavaScript. Huh. All right. So that's interesting. So it was JavaScript arrays, then it was TypeScript, SQL, and modern JavaScript. Go! Modern JavaScript it is. JavaScript features from ES5 released in 2009. That's 11 years ago. Alright. This course only covers features supported by popular browsers. Okay. You have one task available. Finishing it to unlock more. Let and cons. That one I know. This course covers JavaScript as it exists today. It assumes basic familiarity with JavaScript. You should know how to define a function and write it an if. You should also have seen the this keyword before, but you don't need to know about this about its confusing quirks. There are many of them, okay? Historically, available scoping was a sore point. Variable scoping was a sore point in JavaScript. The straightforward assignment syntax x equals 1 defines a global variable, oh no, which we rarely want. Fortunately, modern versions of JavaScript have a strict mode. It prevents many kinds of mistakes, including that type of global variable definition. Strict mode is enabled by putting the string uh, mm, a single quote, use strict single quote at the top of the module or function. Babel, TypeScript, and most other JavaScript compilers automatically insert use strict for us. This course does that as well. All the code here runs in strict mode. If we try to define a variable with x equals 1, we'll get an error. You can type error when a code example will throw an error. Okay, so this is error. Reference error, x is not defined. Okay. Note that we didn't reference x after trying to define it. The reference error is happening simply because we set x equals 1. Variables defined with var aren't global. When we define a var inside a function, it's only visible inside a function. We are allowed to use var in strict mode. Okay, so this will say okay. However, trying to reference a variable outside a function is an error. Reference x in some way outside a function, console log x is a fine choice. Reference x in some way outside a function, sure. define x, and I can say x equal to console log x is too long. Too long. Functions create a variable scope. Inside a function, variables defined in the function are visible. Outside a function, the function's variables are invisible. Yeah, this is good. Indeed. All bars are function scoped, which means that they are visible to the entire function body. What if we put var inside if? It seems like the variable should be visible in the if block, which it is. So there's a if, so it will return 1. However, the variable is also visible to the rest of the function body, even outside the if block. Modify the function to return the x. Return x. This was a mistake in JavaScript's design, was it? Var, because x inside an if shouldn't be visible outside the if. It's too easy to declare a variable thinking that it will be local to the if, then accidentally use it later in the function. Sure. Fortunately, this problem was fixed. It really was a problem. That was an error. I thought it is a feature. I thought it was intentional. Okay, maybe it was a mistake. Who knew? I didn't. Fortunately, this problem was fixed in 2015 when let was introduced with let. A variable defined inside if isn't visible outside if. Trying to access it will cause an error. So here we have a let. It is inside of this block. So here is invisible. So error will occur. Let handles nested scopes properly. For example, we can define an x in the function body, then define another x inside an if. Changing the inner x won't change the outer x. Sure. So outer, this we set to inner, but here it is outer. So we will return this. Those variables hold different values even though they have the same name. That's called shadowing. The inner let x shadows the outer let x. We've been using if for our examples, but these rules apply to any block of code in curly braces. Yes. For example, an outer scope can't access a variable defined inside a while. That causes an error. So there's iterating, there's this block, we have a let, and then we try to return something which does not exist in this block. So this will cause an error. We can also introduce new scopes without using a construct like if or while. Any code contained in curly braces will have its own scope. I know. So this will say outer. Sometimes we want to define a variable, then know that it won't change. We can do that with const, which is like let, except that a const variable can never be reassigned. If we try to assign a new value to it, it's an error. Const return, oh, this is okay, we are not assigning anything. But here we have a const x equals to 1, and then we try to assign it again in here, and that is a no-no. Change the let here to a const. That will cause an error because the variable is reassigned. Okay, you are telling me to do this. That was a stupid exercise. Const doesn't stop us from mutating, changing the value held by the variable. For example, we can mutate a const array by calling its push method. However, reassigning the array variable to hold a new array isn't allowed. Okay. Use the XS push to push a 3 onto array. That's allowed even though we declared XS with const. And this one is important. Push, push, and we'll push 3 in it. Assign, assign a new value to XS by doing XS equals to some value. That will cause an error because X is in const. Okay, so I can do this. Yeah, assignment to constant variable. We cannot do that. The short version is const applies to variable, not the value held by the variable. We can shadow const variables like we can with let. Outer inner, so this is outer. That's allowed because neither of the const variables were ever reassigned. Instead, we are defining a new x that happens to have the same name as the first x. Code in the outer scope can't see inner x, and code in the inner scope can't see the outer x. When we shadow it, that is. Variable scoping isn't exactly the bleeding edge of programming language research, but we declare, use, and think about variables more than almost anything else. It's important, and I will pour water to my tea. I'm drinking white tea. White tea, it is by Hao in Chen, I believe, from Fujing, maybe. It's pretty good. I like it. Well, it's not top of the class, but I like it. Back to the coding. Variable scoping isn't exactly the bleeding edge of programming language research, but we declare, use, and think about variables more than almost anything else. It's important for it to be right. Prior to 2015, JavaScript's variable situation was a minefield that made errors easy. Today, the minefield is still there. Var is still part of the language, and it won't be going away because of the backwards compatibility, of course. But we can forget about old world by fully switching to let and const. Oh, what a bright future. The computer can help you remember to use let. Really? How? You can configure your linter to disallow var completely. Okay, I see. If you like, you can also force you to use const for variables that are never reassigned. We recommend both, and I will have a look at those links. What? That is a setting in ESLint. ESLint is something we use in our work as well. Kinda like the color scheme. Continue. Let nicely encapsulates the goals of ECMAScript 2015. ECMAScript is another name for JavaScript. It's primarily used when talking about official language specification documents. We'll rarely mention specific ECMAScript version in this course. Those standards are finalized now, so we can think of them as just being JavaScript, as everyone does. Let isn't flashy, and it won't make the web app twice as fast, but it fixed a 20-year-old design mistake in JavaScript. 20? I thought JavaScript is 11 years old. Hmm. For layer JavaScript, which made the language more suitable for large-scale application development. That's what ECMAScript 2015 and beyond have been about, modernizing the language, fixing the mistakes. And we are done with the lesson. Okay, that was cool. And let's do the loops. That's something I will blast through, I think. JavaScript has a for dot 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 in loop that iterates for over an object's keys, not its values, okay? So const key in object, so it iterates over an keys. Huh, is an array, so this will be a B, like so, maybe in quotes. Yeah, it is. Okay, so maybe I will not blast through it. This is something which is not 100% under my skin. It's something that I will tell you about if you wake me up in the middle of the night. So, benefit for me, yay. It seems okay, but it causes some strange edge cases. To see one edge case, we'll take a detour into JavaScript arrays. Unlike most other languages, JavaScript's arrays are a special kind of JavaScript object. Type of array is even object, not array. Yeah, this one is pretty. I don't like. Yeah, it says object. Yeah, that means. Oh my God, that was a strong brew. I will dilute it with just hot water a little bit. Hopefully, it helps a bit. That means that we can treat arrays as objects. For example, we can ask for their keys. The keys of an array A, B are 0 and 1. The array indexes converted into string. The array's indexes converted into strings. So this will return an array and it will be 0, 1, and 2. So JavaScript arrays can be sparse. Sparse? What does it mean? Okay. Can be sparse. They can have elements missing. Suppose that we create empty array, yeah, const numbers and insert value at the index 3 equals a. In most okay, so before reading it would be nothing nothing and then 3. But if we get the value from that field, we get undefined, I think. In most language, that would be an error. In some language, Ruby, it would be implicitly fill indexes 0 through 2 with null, nil, or whatever other not a value the language has. JavaScript, it does neither of those. The array has value at index 3, but it has nothing at indexes 0 and 1. Yeah, and if I do for each on it, it will just skip those holes and will process only the fields or the indexes which hold some value. This is an important point. It's not that the array has undefined or null at index 02, it's just nothing at all there. Yeah. And at the same time, if you ask explicitly for that, it will return undefined, I think. JavaScript for in loop skips missing array elements. If we loop over the object for with for dot 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 in, the keys, it's for something in that, okay. And he kind of did define it in here. I wonder if you say only for key in obj would be error. JavaScript foreign loops miss skips. The keys 0 and 2 won't even show up. Only 3 shows up as the string 3. Okay, so we have a numbers 3 assigned to A, and then we have a constant keys, and we are pushing the key in here. Okay, can I modify? I cannot modify this. I would like to modify this and see. Never mind. This will return an array, and in the array will be string of the keys, and the key is only one, so it will be that one. This causes very confusing bugs if you are not expecting it. There are similar problems with regular non-array objects, but this array problem is much quicker to demonstrate. Okay. Fortunately, modern JavaScript provides a better type of loop for off. Okay, so that's something new. For dot 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 off. It loops over the values in array, not the keys. This mimics the for each loops available in Java, Python, Ruby, and most other. So for in is the keys, for off is fuck off. Okay, so for off letters, and we push the letters, so it takes the values, not indexes. So we will get an array, and it will be A, B, and C, like so. What about sparse array? Yeah, that was the whole point of this lesson, wasn't it? Fortunately, the for of behaves as we'd expect. It iterates from index 0 until the highest index in the array. Okay. If some index is missing, it will still iterate over them, giving us the value and undefined. Yeah, so here it comes. In the example below, the loop body executes 4 times, giving us undefined the first 3 times. So we have numbers, we assign we change the element with index 3 to A, then we have a result, and then we are indexing over the values, which is named N, and we are pushing it to the result, which we define in here. So, the result is an array. Then we have a 0 that is undefined. And I will copy this. Then we have a 1 undefined, 2 undefined, 3, this is A. And go. I'm correct. Use for dot 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 off to write a simple version of the pick function from underscore JS and low-js. What are those? Pick function, okay. It takes an object and an array of keys. It returns the values that the object has at those keys. For example, takes object an array of keys, it returns the values of that object for the. You will use the for of. Pick, yeah, that returns pick. First is the object we are taking it from, and there are the keys. So A, that returns that, A, B, key B, so gives 2, and A, oh yeah, because I will be iterating over the array of keys, right? So I will do uh, array for of on this, and I will get this and that, and I will be pushing uh, to the result to like uh, object dot key, I think. And that should give us the thing, right? And I can do so. Okay, so we have big object keys. What I do like is to do that. To close the function, I will return values. That's what we will be returning. That we will have a for off. So we will have a for off loop. So for and const key of keys. And also I want to okay, this one should run. I will get the bad result, but it will run. And now I'm curious what happens if I delete this const when I run it. Ah, not defined, so that is why they did it. Okay. Uh-huh. And now what I want to do, I want to access the object with the key I have and push it to the values array. So we will have a values push, and then we will say key, like so. And that, I believe, should be it. So let's run it. And I get... See, oh my god. Mistake. I will push, but I need to access it, so it will be obj dot key. And that says undefined, undefined, undefined. So... Okay, what now? I think I'm close, but now I don't know exactly how to... I definitely should be using the for of. They even say it in here. For of to write a simple version of the pick function from underscore and blah blah blah. It takes an object, an array of keys. It returns the values that object has at those keys. Okay, so if I do push A, like so, what about this? Okay, so now it, oh damn it. If I do this, that works. So, and if I do key like this, it is undefined, undefined, undefined. Is it a keyword? No. Okay, so I will try to push the key in it. That kind of works. Okay, and we have a object.a that works. Oh, or I can also do this, right? This is the another way how to do it. Yeah, I remembered. I proceed. I persist. I thrive. What if we want to iterate over an object's keys, like for in does? Fortunately, since 2011, JavaScript has an object keys method that gives us an object keys as an array, and then we can for off over that array. Cool. So we have that, we have a keys, uh, cons of object keys, so this will be that, keys push key. So we will have an array, and one will be A, and the second one will be B. What if we want to iterate over a string? It does what you expect. The loop body executes once per character in a string in the string. JavaScript doesn't have a dedicated character type, so the individual characters will show up as strings of length 1, like A. So if I take keys from a string, it will return me those things. So S is loop. Oh, no kidding. Wow, okay. That, no. It's just for off without the keys or anything. So for off, okay. So this will also return an array, and it will be L, L, O, O, oh crap, O, and P. For off, loops also work well with other modern JavaScript features like iterators and generators. We'll see concrete examples when we get to those topics. As it as is often the case, linters can stop you from accidentally using the old for in. For in is the iteration over the values, or yeah, it iterates over the values, but this one skips the empty places, right? ESLint's guard for in rule will stop you from accidentally using for in when you mean for off. For off is the values, and for in is over the keys, right? For in, for off, okay, for in, maybe I can dot dot dot. for in, for in, for off, for off, for off. So two things. For in is going over the, damn it, over the keys. For in the keys and for off over the values. But the for off is over the values for an array, but an array takes also the empty things. Yep. Okay. As is often the case, linters can stop you from accidentally using the alt for in syntax. ESLint's guard for in rule will stop you from accidentally using for in when you mean for off. It will still allow for in if you use certain patterns to make it safe. Oh really? Like what? Uh, we will know the next time. Okay, so we finished 2 lessons. That is pretty cool, and we are over the time, and you know what that means. It means we are done because done is better than perfect. And well, not because it's just the way it is. So next time, beautiful people. Bye bye.